From the rolling fields in the south to the boreal forests in the north, Saskatchewan's food bounty overflows. As an author and journalist, I've spent the last decade tasting the best the province has to offer and telling stories to help us reconnect with our food. I'll take you on a field-to-plate journey to discover our finest ingredients and the people behind it all. Because this isn't just my story, it's Saskatchewan's. Saskatchewan is known as Canada's breadbasket, but there's a lesser-known story behind some of our famous grains. In the 1850s, a new variety of wheat was developed in Ontario called red fife. It spread across North America, but then faded away. One farmer is helping it make a comeback.
Jenn.
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How have you been?
Good. My name is Mark Loisel. I'm one of the owner-operators of Loisel Organic Family Farm here at Vonda. And we've been farming this multi-generational farm since the early 1900s, and personally, myself, over 40 years, and doing organics for about 35. And red fife has been part of our life for the past 20 years now. It's an incredible story. My great-great-grandfather brought his whole family, along with a bunch of other families, on a CN train. They loaded everything on there, their livestock, their equipment, their tools to get started again, which is like incredible visual to think what that would have looked like. A train full of families, just moving. And they set up here. So we're in a red fife wheat field. This is our mainstay crop. It has these wide stems, which is great because it provides more of a covering, so it helps to snuff out some of the weeds.
So tell me about the heritage red fife wheat. What is special about a heritage grain?
A lot of it is from an agronomic perspective. You just need to get more crop. It grows tall. It generally is very competitive with weeds. It provides that extra biomass so that if you're working in your straw and your stubble, you're going to have a good base for the following crops. Red fife wheat is a heritage wheat, meaning it has a long history that probably predates the Second World War. Red fife became the best yielding, the best bred wheat in Western Canada and in the States. And red fife is the grandmother of all these newer varieties that we're growing nowadays. It's kind of like if you do the genealogy, it's right at the beginning. Going to Italy in 2004, a whole group of school children came through to our booth that we had set up, and we had a big plate of red fife sourdough bread. And they wouldn't just pop it in their mouth, keep going like, hey, free food. They would take it, they would touch it, and then appreciate it. And then people were commenting, saying, this is some of the best bread I've ever eaten. Where can we buy this in Italy? I said, sorry, you're gonna have to come to Canada. It's like we're just starting with this thing, When you look back at the story, red fife wheat was so important for the West, and especially Saskatchewan. It's one of these foods that was on its way out. So we'll check out the bag storage here.
Look at this old sea can. This is great.
Yeah. The bread basket was developed because of wheat that came in to the prairies that was able to survive the elements, the harsh winters, the short growing season and all that. Red fife fit the bill, and it was perfect. It's a wonderful grain, and so are other heritage grains, and I think more people should be doing it. I think it's a superior food, for one thing, and it grows very well on the land. It doesn't need extra inputs like other crops.
Oh, look at that. Pretty good.
All these small towns like Vonda used to have their bakery. You didn't have to go far. And it was local production. So it's like, hey, there's no reason we can't do that. It's part of the rural revitalization.
So what does it mean to be farming organically and reviving these heritage grains and then sharing it with people. What does that mean for you?
A lot of what happens in modern agriculture, it just loses its identity. Once it leaves your truck and it gets dumped in the elevator, it's gone. With us, we have this connection right to the end consumer, and we develop those relationships, and it just helps bring people back to their connections with the land and back to connections with their food and what, real food is, not just something that comes out of a container. You take a seed and you say, well, it's just a seed. It's like it's dead. Well, it's not. It's like a little embryo, and it actually has a part called the embryo and all this. It's a living thing. Just add water and poof, you got magic happening. A bit of soil helps too. We're doing what my ancestors would have done with the same grain, just in different ways, using the best of the past mixed with the best of what there is now, but still working hard and providing good, wholesome food.
Mark and his wife Anita are growing organic red Fife wheat at a time when it's regaining popularity. This hardy grain is known for its quality and flavor. They sell the wheat directly to consumers and to bakeries, where it's experiencing a revitalization.
In Montreal, I was a baker in a small vegan restaurant, and some friends and I, we heard of a community bread oven. We were like, that's an awesome idea. I wonder if we could do that. So we found this little piece of land, and then we built our first oven. Looking back, it was impressive that we were able to cook anything out of it, but it was nothing like this. And we just started having pizza parties, and then people would bring dough and we'd bake bread. And it was sort of the oven as a center point and convergence point for a neighborhood around food that got me really excited about wood-fired ovens and bakeries that use them. We fire the wood-fired oven every night. Inside there is a 9-foot diameter dome. If you imagine a 9-foot fire just like roaring all night long, that heat gets transferred into the bricks. In the morning when the bakers come in, we clear out the ash, and then we have that heat. And so we are trying to find that perfect point when the oven's the right temperature, the bread's the right proofing, and then that's when the bread goes into the oven. Talking with some other bakers, they were saying how they had a hard time accessing really good grain. I thought, in my town, if I ride my bike for 15 minutes in any direction, I end up in the middle of a grain field. What a great thing to be able to access this wonderful grain that's grown in our area, and then sort of be the wood-fired oven hearth community connection point for food to keep that commodity that's usually shipped around the world here for people to eat. Almost everything that we make, all the breads and a significant portion of the pastries, are all just 100% red Fife. It's a wonderful old grain that's not been shifted or bred to be different, and it has a great flavor that when you're chewing it, it's almost like you can just taste more. So this is the red Fife that we get from Mark. Lately they've been delivering every week and a half, and that comes straight from the farm. So we don't have any fancy feeding mechanisms, we just lift it up. So I'll do that.
That's your workout.
Yeah, I joke that we have a bakery CrossFit here.
No kidding. So tell me, why the stone mill and not the more modern types of mills?
One is size. For us, the stone mill, it also spins slowly. It doesn't heat up the grain as much. We're looking for that kind of clumping so that we know that we're getting it fine enough to get the oils exposed. Red Fife is one of the grains that we've used from the start. We use it exclusively to feed our main sourdough starter that we put in all of our breads, croissants. Most of the things that we do here, we kind of just throw some in, and it kind of gives flavor and zest to all the products that you make in the bakery. So that's the secret.
Okay, Bryn, Saskatoon sourdough, one of the best sellers at Night Oven, right? Can you show me how to make it?
Absolutely, yeah. So I've got this bucket of dough for us to go through some of the steps. So it is one of our most popular breads. It's more of a white flour bread, but it's still, as you can see in the dough, there's still a lot of whole grain. It's around 30% whole grain in it. Still sourdough, so it's just flour, water, salt. And we decided to call it the Saskatoon sourdough because we're not San Francisco. We are Saskatoon. Seemed to make sense. So first, we have to take this big clump of dough that's been waiting and resting, and then this is called scaling. So we scale it to make the different sizes. So if you want to try one.
And so how big do you want it?
1 kilo, yeah.
How did you cut this so easily?
Well, I've done this before.
All right. That's about half a kilo.
This is a bench scraper.
Yep.
So you scrape it off, grab some, hit the table, pull it over.
Oh my gosh. Bryn, I'm not good at this at all.
Yeah, you're fired.
Look at mine.
A little bit different, yeah.
You make it look so easy.
Yeah, so these ones over here have been resting. And so you can see how they've kind of like slacked out on the table. We turn that upside down, pat it down a little bit, not too much to degas it. Pull the sides out and in. Pull the corners out and in. And then we fold it, just roll it up. Give it a pinch. There we go. Upside down, in the bend. Easy, right?
Yeah, it's so easy.
And again, just do it 100 times. No big
Okay.
deal. So upside down.
Yep. And flop.
Yeah, flop. Small pat.
Degas.
Yeah. Pull the sides out. In. Pinch. Yeah, out. Up into that middle. Yeah.
I'm here.
This guy. Up and over. And then roll it all up. Pro.
Oh my gosh.
Over. So as it rises, we don't want it to open up.
Right.
And then you put it upside down in there. Yeah.
Woo! Did I pass?
You passed.
Yay!
Almost everything that we do here is dependent on the skill, the attention, and the capacity of the people involved in creating the product. And what begins as just flour, water, salt really becomes something special as it heads out of the bakery and lands in different families, different couples, different people, individuals that enjoy it in whatever ways they do.
Bryn's bread is made with whole grain red fife, stone milled in-house and baked in a wood-fired oven. Through his dedication to the ingredients and process, Bryn is creating community around food.
In Saskatchewan, we've got resources aplenty to grow grain. And every day, farmers ship it away for somebody else to do something with it. And we've just never gotten our heads around, why don't we do something with it? It sounds like a simple concept, but one of the key things about adding value is doing something that's so unique that you can't do it somewhere else. I am John Cote, and myself and my wife Barbara own this little facility called Black Fox Farm and Distillery. We've actually got something really cool going on in Saskatchewan. We're kind of in a semi-arid location, we're landlocked. So when the grains that we grow start ripening, they actually start metabolizing a little bit different and they create flavors. And that flavor is going to be distinct from a flavor of that exact same grain that's grown, let's say even in Ontario or further south. And the Canadians came up with this great thing. They decided, well, to make whiskey taste a little bit better, they would add rye to it. We don't. We use triticale, and the neat thing about triticale, it's actually wheat that's been crossed with rye. So this is how it happens. I'm going to give you Distilling 101 in a really short period of time.
Yay.
Take the grain, you grind the grain, and you change all the starches into sugars. And you can do that in a whole bunch of different ways. We use enzymes because it's very environmentally friendly and it does what we want. The sugars can be digested by yeast, and that creates carbon dioxide and alcohol. Now the key is it makes a whole bunch of different kinds of alcohols and a whole bunch of different kinds of flavors. And that's where this comes into play. So distillation is basically using the concept that everything has a different boiling point, and so you can separate all the different components out by how much heat is added and how you separate it. And that's the goal. This is actually what comes off the still. this is whiskey. They're two completely different things. So if you smell it, and I would encourage you to do so, it's not very nice, but if you really smell it deeply, you'll smell that same smell will be in the whiskey because it's the graininess. And you can smell it.
At the end, you can get it.
Yeah. And so this is why a long time ago they came up with these rules and saying, well, this is terrible, and if you put it in the wooden barrel, this happens to it. This is better quality than that. If you're going to call it whiskey, this is what you're going to do. And so we call it finishing. So the idea of finishing is putting it into the barrel and then adding those flavors and taking out the flavors that we don't like. So I want you to come with me, and I'm going to show you what we do with it now.
At Black Fox, their whiskey has a unique flavor because it's made with triticale, a wheat-rye hybrid. It's also because they store their barrels outside year-round, which is almost unheard of elsewhere in the world.
All right, so this is where we store the barrels. There's a lot of magic that goes on after the whiskey's made, and the magic is happening inside these barrels. So the inside of the barrel, like this is one of the staves, and it's charred on the inside. What's happening is the spirit is penetrating into the charcoal part, so it's taking things out of the whiskey. Once the whiskey goes beyond that, though, there's a toasted layer in behind, just that, that golden toasted, like a marshmallow kind of a thing. And that's where the whiskey's picking up a lot of its flavors. Here, this is what's special about storing the barrels here. As it warms up in the sun, it'll actually cause that wood to expand a little bit, so it becomes a little bit more porous. And it just drinks that whiskey in, and then at night or next week when it's cooler, it's going to push it out again. So it's actually causing that liquid to move back and forth across that barrier. So very, very important. And people started telling us, well, no, this is bad, John. Don't store your barrels outside because, they're going to leak and this is all bad. And I said, well, that's fine, but I don't have a building to put them in, so this is where they're going to stay for now. Lo and behold, as the whiskey got older and older, and it was 3 years old and then 4 years old, we were finding that we were actually having very, very good results with storing the barrels outside, because what's part of driving the process is the heating and cooling of the barrels. And it's causing this whiskey to become very unique, and it is absolutely nobody else in the world can say they do it like this, because it's just, you have to be here in order to produce this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little bit of a sample, and I'll show you kind of what we're looking for.
Yay!
Because part of it is not every barrel is going to be really nice. And all this color is coming from the inside of the barrel. So this whiskey is made from triticale. So don't do anything with that quite yet.
Okay.
It's important that you get your body accustomed to it.
All right.
So I know it's still before lunch, but we're going to try this. All right?
Yay!
Are you with me?
Yes.
All right. So just a little bit. So you get a lot of flavor, but it's indistinct.
do,
It's just,
yeah.
it's kind of, there's lots. We want that really fine balance, something nice and soft and sweet and almost, we look at our favorite adjective is clean. That's what we're trying to achieve here. Is just you want these really vibrant notes coming one after another. And the last thing you want is that peppery finish kind of in your throat.
So that clean, is that also the approachable nature of Canadian whiskey?
Absolutely, absolutely.
From the field to the barrel to the glass, whiskey's journey at Black Fox takes 5 years until it can be enjoyed. It's a process worth the wait.
This is Saskatchewan. This is who we are. And the other thing about something like this is sharing it with friends. And I think that's what's really special.
Cheers!
Cheers.
I made sure I had an appetite too when I came.
Oh, good job. Well done. Well done.
I'm gonna slice into the bread.
Oh, wonderful.
And so this loaf is red fife, 100% whole grain. And this is just flour, water, salt. So nothing.
Nothing else.
And I don't think people have an appreciation for how much the grain affects the flavor.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And even within different wheat varieties, that there's these huge flavor differences.
We make really great bread, but we can't do so without really great ingredients,
There are certain places that recognize it, but not enough.
No, I swear people taste it. You know, and it's like they don't know. It's like some like imaginary something, but they like it. The thing where they're like, "Oh, that was the best loaf of bread," or "That was the best gin I've had." That's what they're talking about. Is like somehow like a deep down acknowledgement of the.
Well, this is absolutely wonderful bread.
It's very good bread.
This is, there's so much flavor in it. The texture is,
Yeah.
it's just perfect.
When it comes to real taste, it's like, once you open your mind up to like, this is the way it's supposed to be, wow, this is great. Okay, I'm gonna go for more now.
Yes, correct.
Stay away from the big box store.
Yeah.
Go to your local farm, your local market, your local bakery, distillery as well. It's like everything is right here. It's like, this is great.
And it's all about connecting it back to the land and using these really neat ingredients and creating flavors and just enjoying making the art form of making a nice product.
It's important as eaters too, when we're looking at what we're stocking our pantries or our fridges with, and it doesn't all have to be local, but if we can just be a bit mindful about our choices, and maybe there are things that we can go to our farm and get tomatoes, or just think about it a little bit more. And it's so unique to Saskatchewan, and that's what people don't think about, even other Canadians. Saskatchewan's always the province that, you drive through on your way to someone else. Oh, it's flat and boring. It's like, no, there's so much happening here. So many hidden gems and these incredible stories. And I think we need to promote ourselves more and stop being so humble because we're amazing. And look at this connection right now. We've got the farmers that grew the grain, the baker that milled it, enjoying it with your spirits and your whiskey to come from this land as well. And it's all just tied together.
And you're writing about it too.
Yeah,
so
and I
it's
wrote about it, yeah.
For posterity, for history's sake.
All right, guys, I have something I want to share with you. We've made a triticale whiskey, this is about 5 years old. So I would just love if you would try it, because whiskey is made to be enjoyed with friends, because it's just a very nice experience. So anyway, to friends.
Yes. From the rolling fields in the south to the boreal forests in the north, Saskatchewan's food bounty overflows. As an author and journalist, I've spent the last decade tasting the best the province has to offer and telling stories to help us reconnect with our food. I'll take you on a field-to-plate journey to discover our finest ingredients and the people behind it all. Because this isn't just my story, it's Saskatchewan's. Lentils are renowned for their soil-building capacity. The high-protein pulse crop has been consumed throughout the world for thousands of years. Lentils were virtually unheard of in Saskatchewan before 1970. Today, the majority of Canada's lentils are grown here. They're delicious in stews and soups, yes, but Saskatchewan is famous for reimagining possibilities. Regenerative farmers Derek and Tanis Axton plant their lentils with another crop in the same field, which is known as intercropping. This method adds diversity, which equals healthier soil. Ooh, she's a beauty brain.
Yeah, I'll take it, right?
Yeah. Okay, what do we got out here?
Yeah, so this is
Wow.
our intercrop. And of all the intercrops we grow, this is the only one to date now that we grow in the same row, and we intentionally put them together. Because as the lentils mature and, produce seed, the plant becomes heavier, and you'll notice, I know a lot of lentils, if you drive down the highway, you'll notice the lentils will be laying down or nearly laying down at harvest. Mm-hmm. But these will stay standing really, really well.
Oh, it's so neat. Look how tall they are.
And I remember having that conversation with friends of mine that we spray the fungicide because it just keeps them standing and it's better to harvest. Well, finally you start to ask yourself, why are we doing this? And with this, it allows us to be, maybe a little more profitable and, not have to rely on an input to do it.
Like the flax is supporting them.
Yeah, they definitely do that. This is totally old technology. I mean, if you go back, right, this is, corn, bean, squash, right? Right back to
Yeah, Three Sisters.
I'm not that smart. I'm just kind of take what somebody else figured out and, just made it work for us.
In 2020, Axton Farms built a new food-grade cleaning facility which allows them to sell directly to consumers.
Yeah, so this is our new grain cleaning facility.
Wow, this is awesome, Derek.
It's been a couple of years almost now from when we started building it to now, but I might as well show you where everything starts. Well, why don't I show you how we make our first separation with the vibratory separator. This is the place where the lentils and the flax come in the building, and this first machine does the big separation and does most of the work for the rest of the plant. The lentils carry on from here, farther down the line, and this is, what a typical lentil sample looks like. We use lentils like everything on our farm as a tool, right? And lentils, one of the things we do with them, not only is, we used to grow them for sale, but we use them to fuel our flax, right? And that's, the lentils and flax, they just work so well together.
Lentils have so many benefits for the soil, but especially when they're planted with another crop like flax. What are some of those benefits that you've found?
Intercropping has been sort of a game changer. And one of the things that we've noticed is that when we grow like a pulse, like a lentil or a pea on its own, we actually feel that we're taking a little bit of a step backwards as far as from a soil health perspective. And I think that might be sort of unusual for some people to hear. But when we put it with another crop like a flax or a mustard, it changes the dynamics in the soil, and we actually find that we're seeing sort of a drastic improvement. And that opened my eyes to the whole idea of water infiltration, things that you can actually measure and things that you want to improve and can improve. And one of the pillars of soil health is diversity. With the way we're sort of trying to restore our soil biology, intercropping just seems to be a supernatural fit. I mean, we get a completely different sort of biological community in the roots of two different plants. If you think about it, it's just doubling the diversity. And one of the benefits that we don't see is kind of the below ground relationship. And there's a fungal network that make both plants more efficient, and it can help share nutrients between them, nitrogen one way and micronutrients back, and they'll even share water. And that's where a lot of our efficiencies come from. It's something that we actually check on our farm. My wife Tanis has been trained to look at the roots. At a certain growth stage, we look at them and we check and make sure that we're getting good colonization in both plants. And it's mostly just to make sure that the practices we're doing are having us go the right direction. Generally, we're seeing improvement every year. When we started this facility, originally it was mostly in my mind just a big, fast intercrop separated machine. But the whole time it was going around in the back of my mind that this is food and we should be doing something about that. And it didn't take a whole lot of research on our part, and then not much time to think about the fact that we can do food grade. We should, and we need to do that, And so it was kind of a quick change of direction with a few things in here, and that's the direction we're going. And I guess maybe some things have happened in the world that have maybe sort of helped us change our focus, but there's some opportunity for us to sell food off this farm and in this province and in this area, and we just want to be a part of that.
Growing lentils in an intercropping system contributes to soil diversity and nutrient-dense plants for food. And as the Axtons are proving, it's possible to grow wholesome food while also creating economic opportunities.
The history of beer is really a history of agriculture. Regions that could grow barley and could grow hops and had certain water profile, they developed regional styles of beer and perfected those styles because it worked so well with the local ingredients. I just found that fascinating that that's how it was. There wasn't just beer. I'm Mark Heisey. I'm president and CEO of Rebellion Brewing. There's a lot that goes into how I got from brewing in the garage to running a brewery today, but not a whole lot has changed. We still make beer the same way that I did back at home, using, the same traditional brewing methods, the same traditional ingredients, and it's just kind of snowballed from there. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like I'm doing anything a whole lot different than I was back then. Everyone always wants to know about lentil beer. They think it's super cool. I think it's cool. To go way, way back, my cousin Tyler, he just contacted me one day and said, "Hey, have you ever thought of making a beer with lentils?" And I said, "No, because that sounds terrible." I wouldn't say he got annoying, but it got to the point where I thought, I just need to make this a small test batch of lentil beer for him and for the folks that he works with to prove to him how terrible it is. And they all came down to try it, and myself too, trying it for the first time, and we all thought, oh, this is pretty good. Most of the lentils grown in the world are grown right here in southern Saskatchewan. So that immediately got me interested and excited, because I'm like, there's a real strong local angle here. And after a year of making it full time, we kind of just realized we're brewing this every week, and we make a lot of different beers. And at that point, none of our other beers we were making once a week. It's been our #1 selling beer ever since. They serve it at Saskatchewan Rough Rider football games. I mean, if you're from Saskatchewan, you have to love the Riders. I love the Riders, and I get to go there and drink a beer that I created. That definitely stands out as a highlight.
So this is pretty cool, Mark. This is Rebellion's brewing room, right?
Yeah, this is where we have thousands of liters of beer. Gonna turn into something real tasty real soon with all the happy, healthy yeast here.
Nice. Your magic beer room.
Yeah, it's a great place to come and hang out whenever I get the chance.
Cool. So what are you going to show me today?
Let's brew some lentil beer.
Woo!
As I said, it's our most popular one. We brew it at least once a week.
Wow.
You think I can give us a hand here with the lentils? Start getting some of those right into the mash with everything else?
This?
Yeah, I think you can
This
handle
way?
it.
All right.
I believe in you.
I think you made it lighter for me. All right, lentils. So how many bags go in?
3 bags go into every batch. It's gonna mix nicely with the barley. It takes about an hour for the enzymes and all the science to happen, and it converts all of that starch into a delicious sugar that will eventually turn into beer.
So cool. When do I get to taste it?
It's gonna take about 2 weeks to drink this batch, but I think we have a few other ones that we could probably drink today.
Okay, sweet. Okay, Mark. So you just taught me how to make this lentil beer. Now I get to try it. Pretty exciting.
Yes, that's great. Fantastic. Let's have a sip.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
Absolutely. Those are those King Red lentils that we put in there. Obviously, a lot of Saskatchewan barley as well. It's just a nice, easy drinking beer. It's nice and smooth. It's got a hint of sweetness, but not too sweet. It tastes like Saskatchewan. It's got all the Saskatchewan things. We use King Red lentils in that beer, and the actual scientist researcher at the University of Saskatchewan that developed King Red lentils, he came into the tap room one day, and he was literally like shaking, to see what we had done with his baby. I mean, I get goosebumps right now because I just remember, that's a pretty special thing, and that's the real beauty of Saskatchewan, is that we are small enough that you get to know all of these people. I met the person that literally created that lentil, and we got to share a lentil beer together.
Tell me a bit about the history of beer in Saskatchewan and how we came to be at the point we're at now. And we have craft breweries all over the province.
What we kind of call modern craft beer in Saskatchewan really got going all the way back about 30 years ago when brew pubs were finally allowed in the province. Within the last 7 or 8 years, folks like ourselves and other breweries have popped up. And it seemed like the general public was ready for what we were offering, and there's just been such a momentum. The amount of craft beer enjoyed in this province has doubled in the last 5 years, and we feel pretty strongly we can double that again in another 5 years.
A lot of people talk the talk, but don't necessarily walk the walk. But you do, and you do it in an authentic and humble, beautiful way. But I'd love to know from your perspective, like that community building aspect. Why is that important to you? What does it mean to you?
I'm very lucky and very fortunate to do the things that I do. And so you start to think about, okay, how can I be more meaningful and impactful beyond just running a successful business? I love the values of Saskatchewan. The one thing that I don't necessarily love in terms of marketing is that we're not good at bragging. We say, well, we're just from Saskatchewan. No, we're from Saskatchewan, and we do really great stuff. We should really celebrate that.
Yeah, well, you know, taking care of one another, supporting each other, that's the Saskatchewan spirit. So cheers. Thanks for having me in today. Saskatchewan's craft beer production has doubled in the last 5 years, and creating unique beers with locally grown ingredients like King Red lentils is how Rebellion celebrates what's possible here.
Growing up, I always was influenced by Spanish food and Italian food because most people in Argentina with a mix of Italian and Spanish. When I make something, I base always in what is like my mom's flavor. You can make many kind of stew, but for me it's like, no, this is like my mom's flavor. It's the same that happened when I make empanadas. It's something that I learned from my mom because it's like she did so many times that I'm still trying to recreate that. I'm Chef Ricardo Rodriguez from the Creek in Cathedral Bistro, Regina. I grew up in Buenos Aires. There is a lot of culture, there is a lot of immigration, and all the cuisines are a mix of many of these different parts of the world.
One of the awesome things about our restaurant is that we make everything from scratch. So whether it be your aiolis, we make our soups from scratch. The chefs just recently started making cheeses in-house. So it's something that a lot of places in Regina don't do, and I think that really sets us apart from other places. And with lentils, it's something that's just become a Saskatchewan staple.
In Argentina, as a legume, lentils is the most popular legume that we eat. It's hearty, we eat a lot in the winter. I like to make it like stewed lentils, and always those flavors become like naturally.
This is pretty exciting. In the kitchen with Chef Ricardo. What are we making today?
We're gonna be making empanadas, Argentinian empanadas, and we're gonna be using the lentils, of course, and a little bit of Patagonian mushrooms from Argentina, some cheddar, and a queso, or like a homemade cheese that we made at the restaurant. So this is gonna get mixed, so we're cutting it just to mix it a little bit after. You would like to try one piece? Just try it.
Yes, of course I would. Thank you, Chef. This is a big piece.
And we have a little bit of truffle to give you like a little nice flavor in the fresh cheese.
That is delicious.
If you like to grab some of the Patagonian mushrooms, and we're gonna chop it up and we're gonna mix it a little bit. Great.
So this is neat. You've got this mix of Patagonia with Saskatchewan lentils.
So yeah, that's how we connect like the bridge, like doing what is like in Latin cuisine, empanada is really popular too. And here we have like a mix of 3 different lentils from Saskatchewan.
So pretty.
Some different styles. Some ones may be crispy, some ones will be a little bit soft. So it's really nice that we can combine some of these lentils. Now we're gonna pass to, actually here we have like, we make what we call it empanada dish.
Wonderful, because you make everything from scratch in this kitchen, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We always like, that's I think how you get the best final product. Put just a little bit of water on the rim.
A little bit of the water glue.
I help you out a little bit with
Oh,
yours.
thank you, Chef.
Maybe.
Help me out a little.
Scoop of the mix, not too big.
Not too big.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. And now we're gonna try to fold the first closest. So first you close the center, so you know that is kind of fair, tightly. And from the center you keep going all around.
Ooh.
Like a little pocket.
I don't know if mine's gonna look as pretty as yours.
It will, it will. That's great. And then you can flip it the other way. And we put it like a little bit up, and we're gonna glue, showing the back. Yes.
Ah, okay. A
And
little
we shine the
flip.
back. That's good. Yeah, a little flip. So we have like a little rim. And this is empanada is ready to bake for tonight.
Oh, they're so pretty. I can't wait to try these.
Yeah. Saskatchewan is a big province, and from north to south, it's so diverse that it gives us the opportunity to grow many things. When I became a chef, I explored Patagonia, I lived there, and I fell in love with this place because you have a little bit of everything. You have the ocean and the mountain. And slowly, as a young chef, I started exploring with things that I found. By the time that I came to Saskatchewan, I noticed the similarities that there is between Patagonia and Canada. Some of the vegetables that can grow are very similar. There is so many similarities in the north of Saskatchewan with the south of Patagonia. I felt like, oh, this is home, and I can create things that are maybe based on what I learned in Patagonia, but they are here in Saskatchewan now. And I find like more and more, I keep finding more in love with the province, with all Saskatchewan. I think like the universe bring me here for something, and I feel like this is a really good place to start exploring and growing your own. We need their own identity in the Saskatchewan cuisine, and it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
Ricardo's creativity is fueled by quality Saskatchewan ingredients like lentils. Partnerships between restaurateur Jasmine and the farm suppliers make his dishes and the bistro's customer experience that much richer.
Tonight for dinner, we're having a varieties. We're gonna start with a little bit of appetizer. There's some salad and soup. Today we are using 6 varieties of lentils. They're all from Saskatchewan, and not every lentil is the same. They have like a little bit different. Some of it might be more peppery or more sweet. We can smoke it and mash it up. We can make it into a salad. We can pickle it. We can make it into a sauce. One of the other courses is the soup. The soup, I call it usually Mama Nora, because it's based on my mom's recipe. In this case, this stew is like stewed lentils that we use from Jasmine's parents. I love the way that we can use the lentils in so many ways.
Well, thanks for explaining everything, Ricardo. This looks amazing. And thank you, everyone, for coming. And let's dig in.
I like this plan.
I've had lots of our lentil beer, but not marinated in mushrooms.
You ever seen your lentils looking like that before?
No, but I'm sure looking forward to trying them.
A lentil feast.
Yeah, lentil barbecue sauce. I never thought of that one. That's nice.
Yeah.
You always can do new things, even if people don't try before. So the same, like that's how it come out, like about smoking the lentils. And the final product, I was amazed, because it's like, oh, good job, Ricardo.
Yeah. And I think for you too, it makes it a lot more fun and creative when you're cooking with local products and farm to table things. It's a lot more exciting to.
Yeah, collaboration is really important, because in this case, we have you guys bringing the lentils, Jasmine growing the vegetables, Mark bringing the beer, and then we cook with this beer, and I put it together with the help of Jenn, of course.
Oh yeah, I did a lot. So what I would love to see, like moving forward in Saskatchewan, is more of these partnerships with chefs and farmers, food artisans, like makers in the middle, and put it all together.
You know, you put a lot of work into what you grow, and you're excited to watch it grow and harvest it, to see it full circle and on the table in so many beautiful ways. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, there's something special about, about this and seeing our product, on the table in front of us, because it's something we never ever experience. It's usually taillights, right? Knowing the story and knowing the farmers and knowing the chefs and the brewers. It's just really cool. This is pretty special.
Probably a major thing with lentils in general is you need to experiment with it and learn to cook it, and you don't know that you can make all these amazing things with it until you experiment.
And yeah, once you know how versatile they are, there's so much that you can do with them.
And I think when you know where it came from, you do appreciate it more, because you know the work that was put into every stage in every ingredient.
And I think like many years ago, people were like, oh, I never tried, I don't know about that. But now, these days, it's like people come because they know that they're gonna find something new, something different. And for me, it gives me that freedom of keep growing and keep experimenting.
It just feels like we're kind of coming of age, if that makes sense, in Saskatchewan with the culinary experiences and all that. So very, very, very lucky to be here at this point in time.
So true. Yeah, celebrating and appreciating all that we have here.
There is no better way through food. I think celebrating through a good meal, a good drink is
Yes.
Yeah.
like friends,
Good wine, good
like
beer.
family
Yep.
style.
From the rolling fields in the south to the boreal forests in the north, Saskatchewan's food bounty overflows. As an author and journalist, I've spent the last decade tasting the best the province has to offer and telling stories to help us reconnect with our food. I'll take you on a field-to-plate journey to discover our finest ingredients and the people behind it all. Because this isn't just my story, it's Saskatchewan's. Ota Pamehoan means nourishment in Cree. For the Indigenous people that live here, the land has always been a source of nourishment. Through foraging and hunting, traditional foods are crucial in ensuring health and play a pivotal role in ceremonies.
When I go foraging, we always put tobacco down. We always pray to Creator. These are the things that were taught to me, not as a child, but as an adult. Everything that's going to nourish you or be part of you or take care of you, you always have to give thanks for that. Over the years, I've gained that knowledge, not from books, not from TV, like just going on the land with my elders and my family. My uncle spoke to me one time about our blood memory, and there's memories in our DNA. When he spoke to me about that, I was floored because I never heard anybody talk about things like that before, but I knew somewhere in me that knowledge is there, and it makes sense. When you eat something, it becomes part of your body. That knowledge that I have and that I gained, I try to share that with others. That's so important for me to do.
The Opimihaw Valley, located just outside Saskatoon, has been a gathering place for Indigenous people for thousands of years. I grew up along this valley and wanted to learn more about the treasures the land holds.
Well, for me, I've been berry picking since I've been a kid. Mom's taking me out everywhere. We spend all summer foraging for whatever we can. To me, it's a connection to the land, of course, and to my culture and to the history. We know that that's our special time. Gabby has been foraging with me since she's been about 3. Being a single mom is tough at times, so she would always come with me. I don't want to put Gabby in a daycare center while I'm having fun. That doesn't happen. She comes with me everywhere. That's important. Food security happens at home. It happens with children at a very young age. I knew what food security was when I had to go out and weed every single row of our 2 gardens and make a salad after. So that, to me, there's nothing that tastes better than a fresh carrot out of the ground. And I want Gabby to know what that is as well.
I grew up very close to this valley, the Opimihaw Valley that flows, this creek flows into Wanuskewin, and it starts on my mom and stepdad's land, but I don't know what's in my backyard. I know about Saskatoon berries, but I would love it if you can teach me more and show me how we forage respectfully and everything else.
So the elders always teach us to offer tobacco whenever we harvest anything. And that's to give thanks to Creator for the bountiful that we pick. And today I bought some tobacco. So right hand. Okay. So always in the right hand. We give thanks to Creator. So we hold it up and say, thank you, Creator.
Thank you, Creator.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
For the Saskatoons and for the medicine and for the plants.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Creator.
Thank you, Creator.
So now we put the tobacco by the plant. So ever since I was a kid, even younger than Gabby, we would go and pick, and pails and pails. I'm not talking about a little saunter down the road. We're talking days and days of picking berries. It's our food security. We fill up our freezers in the summer with all of our berries that we love. Ready to taste one?
That's actually delicious.
It is delicious. Do you ever eat more than you pick?
Yeah, kind of.
Picking them is so peaceful, and it's a way to just connect and be still. You lose yourself.
And I eat them.
And you eat them.
Yes.
And you get skeeter bites.
And how beautiful that you can share with your daughter what you shared with your mom and your grandma and other family members.
Yeah, it's a whole process. Heart disease, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, all these things are killing the First Nations people because they're not getting the proper nutrition that they need. The price of a milk here in Saskatoon area is about $4 for a 4 liter. In the north, it's about $25 for a non-subsidized community. People who are already living on reserve, who do not have access to a car, who can go to Prince Albert to go get groceries, they're already marginalized. They're already poor. And so you're charging 3 or 4 times extra for the food that they need. What are you doing to the people? You're starving them. That's scary. That's really scary. And it made me realize, we're not doing enough for the First Nation communities up north. It's important to start to think in ways that are beneficial for a community to sustain themselves. And I hope that, again, that First Nations and all people will start to realize the importance of the food. The food is so important.
Along with ensuring food security for her family, gathering and eating traditional foods like Saskatoon berries is how Diana connects to the wisdom passed down from her ancestors.
I just remember growing up playing along the really big exposed roots of Besnard Lake and the rocks and looking up at the eagles kind of soaring over us as we played. Just kind of being a free-range kid in the bush, fishing and going to our friends' trap line, and smelling hides being cured and hearing traditional knowledge passed on right around the table as we gathered for food and tea. My foster brother Andrew, who's now 37, my little brother, he's blind and he has cerebral palsy. So a huge part of the way I interact with food and people came from hanging out with him as a kid. When you're blind, especially a blind little toddler, if you put a piece of lettuce in your mouth, it's really not that appealing. I remember trying to get him to eat peas once and saying, okay, they're just little circles. They kind of feel like plastic, but when you chew them, they'll pop in your mouth. So I think that initial draw to food as more of a creative outlet, I have to thank my sweet little brother Andrew for that.
I knew Diana and Jenny were both involved in Saskatchewan's Indigenous culinary scene, and through writing my book, discovered the two had never met. We decided it was time to gather together in the valley and celebrate traditional food. Hello, Jenny.
Hi.
Good, how are you?
Awesome. Want you to meet Diana Bird.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Jenny.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Finally.
Yes.
So excited to cook with you.
Yes.
I have a little gift for you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. What do you have?
These are fiddleheads.
Yay! Can't buy those in the store.
No, you cannot.
Wow. Come into the kitchen.
Alrighty.
So I want to learn about fiddleheads from you ladies. I know a little about them. I know they're poisonous if you don't cook them right. But I don't know a lot else about them. Where you find them in Saskatchewan, how you cook with them. Teach me, share the knowledge, please.
Diana?
All right, well, we picked these up north about 3 hours from here. And we pick them every spring around end of May. They're good for about a good week. And then that's it, they turn to ferns.
So do you snap it off or do you cut it with a knife?
I snap it off. Okay. Yeah. When you are down on the ground with something as special as fiddlehead, you want to have more connection to it.
Beautiful.
The Canada Food Guide recommends to blanch them for 5 minutes because they can be carcinogenic. And so we make sure that they're safe to eat, These won't harm you. They've been blanched.
They're good to go?
Oh, yes.
All
I
right.
love the color.
It's like asparagus and pea.
I just sit down with that whole bowl.
Right?
Should we fry them up?
Sure.
Yeah, let's add some butter to them. That can only help, right?
Do you want me to chop some garlic for you?
I would love that.
Okay.
What's your favorite way to serve them or to cook with them?
For me, I like them plain with just a little bit of butter and garlic, salt and pepper. I add them to pretty much just about anything.
I feel like I'm still that kid in the kitchen, playing and exploring and using the ingredients that I'm able to forage from a Pimahawk Creek, from all our neighbors in this area. We're in a beautiful kind of a food circle. From Canadian Shield to Prairie Field, we have all these ingredients to work with. And it's been a gathering spot for people for over 6,000 years. Some of the archaeological digs predate the pyramids. 2 buffalo jumps, a medicine wheel. We have so much just on the land to offer. You just get this sense of being part of a place that's given healing and peace to so many generations of people. I remember one time I was out harvesting choke cherries and I almost felt like I could hear women, echoes of women from years gone by on the bison processing site, kind of laughing at me and with me. I just think it's so special that I can be out picking choke cherries in likely the very spot that women for thousands of years were gathering the same berry. It's 100% an experience that links us directly to the past. This is what people ate. We know they ate it because we see it on there were stones in the valley that were used for grinding roots and grinding berries, and they can go and say, yeah, that was choke cherry, that was Saskatoon berry. There's a culinary history on the very rocks at Wanuskewin.
And did you eat these when you were growing up?
I absolutely did not. So I probably saw them growing up. I just didn't know that I could eat them. Otherwise, I would have been eating them raw.
When you pick fiddleheads from the ground, they're about this big, and they have this brown husk on them that needs to be dried off, wiped off, washed off, or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So it is a process.
It's like they got greener.
Yeah.
They are, yeah, they're brightening
Yeah,
up.
so I only saute them until they do get that bright green. Anything else from now it'll be brown, so.
That's gorgeous.
So there you go, and there's your fiddlehead, and they're ready to eat.
So pretty.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Well, thank you, ladies. Let the feast preparations begin.
Alrighty. The highlight of my cooking life happened when the first herd of bison was reintroduced to the park. And just to look down at my feet and see the moccasins that my dad had given to me, and to look around the room and see faces of people that have been working on this project for 40 years, and the fact that I and my staff got to prepare the food, the stew, the bannock, the berries for that for that day was, I don't think the term executive chef encompasses the feeling that that created in me. It's just an honor to be on this sacred, beautiful land, gathering the ingredients and feeding people. It's just an absolute dream come true to be here. And I remember that day just thinking, I'm a little girl from La Ronge and I'm at this World Heritage Site. How did this happen? And I think it's just creating that experience and getting people excited about food has been in me all along.
It was a powerful meeting for the two women with their combined passions as they taught me about harvesting and cooking fiddleheads.
The key piece of information regarding food that I've learned from the elders is don't take more than you need. That's whether you're at table, whether you're harvesting. Be very, very respectful with the ingredients.
These foods are healthy, they're nutritious, and when you catch a fish or pick a fiddlehead, that's your food. Be proud of that.
After learning about some of the traditional foods, we invited Elder Judy Pelly and singer Teedley Linklater to share wisdom from their experiences and a meal in the Opimihaw Valley.
I'd just like to thank everyone for inviting me to be on this land and sharing the nice food, and just really grateful to be here.
When somebody approached me to be a part of this, I didn't refuse, because I think that was my journey to be here for whoever needs me, whether, for whatever reason. I just really want to see how grateful I am for having met you. And I'm looking forward to our meal, our traditional meal, and these wonderful ladies.
Using the forage, Saskatoon berries, fiddleheads, and other ingredients, Jenny and Diana prepare the dishes for our shared dinner.
Today I made you a fiddlehead spanakopita. It's in phyllo dough, and there's a little bit of cottage cheese in there. The second one is a moose meat samosa. It's not spicy, but it's so yummy.
And then when Diana told me what she was making, I was drooling, of course, and thinking, okay, what am I going to do here?
Foaming at the mouth.
Foaming at the mouth. So this is a Saskatoon berry chutney, and then your little sticks there are pickled beet stems, and I used wild juniper in it. So you'll taste a little bit of that.
Enjoy, ladies.
Yay, what do I tack first?
What to try first? Maybe a beet?
Oh, this is so delicious.
See, if Mother Earth had a taste, that's how she'd be, like beets.
Earthy, yeah, I think so.
Earthy and Judy, moose meat for you, is that something you grew up eating, or is it something you?
It was a staple.
Yeah, yeah.
But we grew up with all wild meat. It was rabbits and ducks. And
Yeah, a lot of what Judy grew up on is what I grew up on as well. When the hunters went out in the fall, all of us women would always help. Our payment was taking home some moose meat, right? So the family would provide for 60, 70, 80 families. So it's important for us. It's a way of life. And
You know where it came from.
yes.
everything was used in the animal, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that. What you're doing at Wanuskewin and introducing people to some of these foods that they may never have tried before, and foraging some of the things from the land, and you're this conduit to coming back home to traditional foods, really.
Alrighty, so we're in for more treats.
We're in for
More treats.
More yum.
What do we have? What did you make?
The trout comes from up north. We stuffed that with some fresh herbs that I have from the garden. I brought some fiddleheads for everybody to try. It's just fried up with a little bit of butter and garlic.
And then the little soup or puree is nettle, right from underneath the buffalo jump out at Wanuskewin. I used a bison dry meat, so I rehydrated it and then used the liquid as the broth. And just a little bit of garlic and fresh sage that Diana brought from her garden. And then the little swirly is choke cherries that I picked out at Wanuskewin yesterday. And I just cooked them down with a little bit of maple syrup from a First Nation in Quebec.
So this is fabulous, ladies. And a question that I had for the two of you, there's this resurgence into modern Indigenous cuisine. Do you see that as something valuable, as a way to help people experience these foods, or would you prefer it stayed more traditional?
Traditional food, served traditionally, made traditionally, that's important. That's part of our ceremonies. That's how it's done, right? I think that it's also important for the younger generation who don't like the traditional food, for them to experience traditional foods in a non-contemporary setting like this, right?
Food, of course, is a time of coming together and celebrating. All celebrations, there's food. It's very important that there is a movement, especially with reconciliation happening across the country. We need to build each other up. We need to fight against racism, because systemic racism is a really, really huge problem in our society right now. And I think once we start to work together as one people without looking at race, we can start to build a better country together, to make it a better tomorrow for our children, and to also include those people that don't have a voice. There's a whole population that people forget. They don't hear them, they don't see them, they don't hear the pain, and we need to bring culture and language, and with that there's always food. You know, one of the many teachings is always to be in a good mood. You never cook if you're angry, because it's your spirit, it goes into the food and all the people that eat it.
Food is so integral to health and healing, isn't it? Well, thank you very much. This was absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Foods like Saskatoon berries, fiddleheads, nettle, moose, and bison meat have always been essential for Indigenous people here. When we talk about reconciliation and food sovereignty, there is a lot of work to be done, but food is a way we can connect and ultimately better understand one another.
I'm going to sing a Woman's Honor Song for everybody. I really enjoyed my evening with everybody today. It's kind of a big treat, and I'm kind of an introvert, so it's really a bigger treat to have everybody. I just like to say this song was given to my mom by the spirits. She was having a hard time, and she kept hearing this song over and over in her head till finally she had the courage enough to sing it for everybody. It's in Cree Nehiyawit language, and it's like Pasikuaskwewak. It means women rise, get up, get your voice. So the song is for all the women, my daughters and our ancestors and our generations to come. So that's a song I chose to sing to everybody. Miigwech.
From the rolling fields in the south to the boreal forests in the north, Saskatchewan's food bounty overflows. As an author and journalist, I've spent the last decade tasting the best the province has to offer and telling stories to help us reconnect with our food. I'll take you on a field-to-plate journey to discover our finest ingredients and the people behind it all. Because this isn't just my story, it's Saskatchewan's.
Saskatchewan is a great place for producing honey because we have these huge fields of flowers. If you're driving down the highway and you smell that sweet smell as you go by a field, that's the nectar that's actually evaporating out of the flowers. And while those fields are blooming, we have these huge populations of bees that can fly in long days and put those things together, and you got nice big honey crops. I'm Ian Eaton. I own Good Eatin' Honey with my wife Verna, and we produce the best honey around.
Bees are a vital part of the ecosystem and help make our diverse agricultural bounty possible. Of all Canadian provinces, Saskatchewan produces the second highest amount of honey, up to 23 million pounds a year, And our beekeeping industry is responsible for some of the most flavorful honey you'll ever taste.
So I have about 700 colonies in 14 locations. As a beekeeper, I'm helping bees do what they do naturally. And I just give them the best opportunity to grow fast and then bring it all in and get it all extracted before the cold winter comes along, and then we got to prepare them for the winter because they're not native to this country. They actually were brought in from Europe, so we have to give them a little help to get through our cold winters. One honeybee probably only brings in 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in its whole life. And 70% of that is water. So that has to be then dehydrated down to about 18% moisture. Take that one little eye drop and bring it down to a fraction of that. That's actually what's left for honey in the comb. So you can think how many trips it has to make just to make that tiny little bit. So Jen, here's where the honey story starts, with the bees.
Oh my gosh, look at all of them.
So there's actually a few thousand bees in here, but in the middle of the summer, the really strong hives can get up to 100,000 bees in there.
Wow. And why do you use the smoke?
The main reason is to make sure that the guard bees are calmed down and so they don't come out and attack us.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, there's the queen.
Where, which one?
Tell me when you see her.
It's like, where's Waldo?
Blue one. That's her. You found her.
Oh my gosh.
A little blue dot on her.
Look at her.
Meaning that
she's a lot bigger.
the reason she's bigger is her whole rear end there is full of eggs, so that she can lay up to 2,000 eggs in one day. And she'll be laying several a minute.
Wow.
If you can see here, there's a little bee coming out of its cell. It's actually chewing its way out, and there's little young nurse bees ready to feed it.
Oh my gosh, that's the cutest thing.
Everybody here has a job. They're all doing something. The very, very young ones, the first thing they do is just help keep the brood warm. This is all pollen around the outside from different flower sources. The bees will take that and feed it to their young. And the queen, she gets a special food. She gets royal jelly. And that's from the pharyngeal glands of the young bees.
Oh, they're mesmerizing.
And really, they're very tame. I can
Look.
I can lift them right up with my finger like that. Oh. There's thousands of different insects out there that all have something to do with honey and pollinating, but it's only the honeybee that actually makes so much excess honey. So you've seen the bees. Now we'll go see what they've done. We've got the honey in the honey house. We'll do some extracting.
Okay. The honey house at Good Eatin' Honey is where Ian brings in all the frames from the hives and extracts the honey.
So we start by putting a frame onto here. And here's your uncapping scratcher.
Okay, so we're taking off
So we want to take, I want to take off the cappings.
Okay.
So that we can expose the honey so that it can actually fly out of the frame when it gets spun out. When the bees bring in the honey, it's actually not honey yet, it's nectar. And it goes into their special honey stomach. They have these glands that actually add enzymes to the nectar, which is actually what becomes honey then.
And how long does it take the bees to fill up one of these frames?
You know, they are amazing. One year they put 50 pounds of honey in the hive in one day. So that's more than a whole box. That's more than 9 frames of honey.
In one day?
In one day. All right, now we got a whole conveyor full so we can get them all pushed together. Now those are all gonna come tight together. First thing, we need to push up the hood.
Fancy.
Here we go.
Like this fast?
Yep, 30 frames coming in. So now we are gonna spin this. And away we go.
Woo! Look at that.
Ooh, it's starting to come out already.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got the frames all extracted. We've got the honey in the sump coming up the pipe. And now we're gonna fill a barrel.
Oh, this is cool.
Okay, Jen, you want the honors?
Yes.
Open up the valve.
Okay. Ooh.
Pure gold.
I love honey. It's my favorite.
You can imagine the number of bees that had to travel to make all this honey. Go down, 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 down. Shut her off all the way.
There we go.
So we're gonna put the lid on.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, awesome.
And that is now
locked up tight.
set for shipping.
Thousands of insects help pollinate plants and food crops, but it's only the honeybee that makes an excess of honey. Beekeepers like Ian manage the colonies in order to get that delicious honey from the hive to your kitchen.
Every culture has its own historical, traditional alcohol. The genesis of those things are lost in time. There's no historical record of it at all. But the concept of accidentally producing alcohol from honey is very compelling because it is very, very easy. All you need is for your honey to get wet. There's always wild yeast on honey, so the slightest bit of moisture to dissolve the sugars in the honey, the right temperature is all you need for that yeast to start doing its thing and creating, happy juice. So, my name is Crystal Milburn. I'm one of the owners at Prairie Bee Meadery. I'm partners in the business with my parents and my husband. What we do is we work with all Saskatchewan honey. So our main fermentable is honey, and that is all produced locally. The flavors are just so lovely, so delicate, and they translate really, really well into the wine. Through the fermentation process, we keep some of those nice floral flavors without the intense sweetness, so you get that lovely, that taste of Saskatchewan. You can tell the difference between grapes grown in California and grapes grown in France. It's the same thing. Honey produced in Saskatchewan is going to have a different flavor from the honey produced in Alberta or Manitoba or down in the States. And those flavors are what make it special and unique.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Jen. What are we tasting? Well, I've got 3 for you to try this morning. So we're gonna start with our traditional bee.
It's very simple. All that's in it is honey, water, and of course the yeast. Those are the 3 ingredients you need to make mead.
It's so simple.
Yeah, it's very much like a nice, light, crisp little white wine.
Oh, I really like that. Wow. It's definitely not as sweet as I would have imagined.
No, this one is finished off dry. So I have drier wines even than this, and I certainly have sweeter wines. Next, we're gonna try something fruity. This is my Haskap. They're super fruit, right? Lots of antioxidants, lots of vitamin C, grown right here in Saskatchewan. We oak this one as well, so you get those kind of undertones of toasty caramel, which is really, really pretty. When we're sourcing fruit, we start in Saskatchewan, so we start at our own farm. After that, we kind of go out to other Saskatchewan growers, try to see what we can find locally. But I have had people ask, about doing some more exotic flavors, but my answer is always no. We're doing strictly Canadian grown, so
no pineapple mead here.
No pineapple mead. I do have another something new coming down the pipeline.
Do you?
I do. Would you like to come see how it is we do what we do?
I would love to.
You'll have to get changed though.
Okay. Crystal takes me from the storefront to their meadery just outside Moose Jaw to share the process of turning honey into mead.
So what I have here are some barrels of caramelized honey. Instead of raw honey, it's been cooked and caramelized. And a mead made with caramelized honey is called a bochet. So first thing we're gonna do is get our pump hooked up to this tank. This is the one that we'll be working in. And then we're gonna dive in and get sticky. Come on over here to where our honey is located. There we go.
Oh, it smells incredible.
Yeah, so this has been caramelized, so it's, those nice sort of caramelly aromas, and it's very dark. In order to move the honey into the tank, it's gotta be liquid, so it's been warmed, and we're gonna be able to pump it. We need that hose, so I want you to go ahead and grab it.
Okay.
Pop it right in. Yep, that's good.
Okay.
Other hose. Okay, we're gonna hang on to that.
Okay.
All right.
Woo!
That's it.
Cool.
Right now the tank's only about a quarter full, so it needs to be fuller. We have to dilute that honey with a lot more water.
Okay.
So we're gonna start pouring water in, we're gonna turn the pump on, let it mix up, and then we're gonna start doing some tests and see if we need more honey or more water or what's going on. So fermentation is where glucose is transformed into carbon dioxide and ethanol. So all you need to have fermentation is a source of sugar. Honey is sugar. That's what it is. People don't like it when I say that yeast eat sugar and excrete alcohol, but that's basically the truth. Those are our magic little friends in there doing what they do. So we're gonna let them alone. We're gonna watch temperature on this and make sure that it's within the right range before we pitch it into the tank. We don't wanna shock the yeast. It can kill them if they change temperatures too quickly. So I'll probably start feeding it in about half an hour. So I'm gonna get you to pitch the yeast. What you're gonna do is just a nice slow pour in one spot.
The yeast like to stay all together?
They do, they're like a little family.
And the party begins.
Yes, yes,
Woo.
ready to feast, so we're done.
Okay, so we're all done?
That's it, that's the last step.
Wow, Crystal, I have a much greater appreciation for what goes into making meat now.
It's a lot of steps. So the yeast are gonna do their job. They'll be at it for a few weeks, and then I've got some more work to do, and then I'll send you a bottle in a couple months.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Making mead is relatively simple, just yeast, honey, and water. Yet it takes skill, time, and precision to balance the sweetness and floral notes of Saskatchewan honey.
I was born in India and I lived in Mumbai most of my life. Yeah, the food scene in India it's so different. I still can't cook like my mom. My mom would use vinegar, and the combination of vinegar with spices really brings out the aromas. And I could smell it 2 blocks away. So I know what the menu is gonna be, or at least I would guess. You know, it's so different. I miss it. And it's fresh. Everything is fresh, right? So I was fascinated with food. I love food. So that's where it all started. I'm a gypsy, so every time I learn something and I think I've contributed enough, I would move on. The first 7 years I lived in the Persian Gulf. And then I got an opportunity on the cruise ships. We did the Caribbean, Mexico, North America. And then I was offered an opportunity to go to school in US. I joined a master's program. In the process, I met some very good chefs, worked in New York, New Jersey. My immigration process was taking too long. So the idea was to come to Canada, do my stamping and go back to New York. But once I came, I fell in love with it. And the rest is history. My name is Milton DeBello. I own Sky Cafe and Bistro with my wife, Louise. I like the balance of ingredients, the balance of flavors. Honey is a big part of it, but that was how I was taught as well. Our curries are spicy. Everything that is spicy, you add a little bit of honey, it neutralizes the dish, or it gives it a complete different blend. And honey is a beautiful balance to it. It balances the acid, it brings out the aromas. There is a spring honey, there's a fall honey. I love the spring honey. It's much more clearer. You can actually taste the flowers. I glaze my fish with it, with chili and lemon. I use honey in braising my carrots. The color that it gives, the texture that it gives, brilliant. I love it. And it takes it to a completely different level. And keeping it as organic as possible, it's working.
This is really cool. I get to be in your kitchen with you, Chef Milton, and you're gonna teach me how to make one of your signature salads, right? What are we making?
This is my favorite salad. It's cucumber wrapped baby greens. We're gonna put some mango, pears, and some mint. So what I normally do is I start this way, Jen.
And so now to make the wrap, I'm laying them out? And
Laying them out, you can do 5 or 6.
We've got all this beautiful, fresh garden produce, right?
And it's gluten-free.
Oh, perfect.
And then I put mango. So this gives the sweetness to it. Then you roll these guys.
Thank you, Chef.
Brilliant, yeah. And now you just roll.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect, that's beautiful. No, that is perfect. Then all you do is, Jen, if you cut this guy from the bottom,
okay.
All these layers, I shingle them. So and look at it. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, it is. All those colors.
Yeah. Now we can make the dressing. So, Jen, we use 2 parts of oil to 1 part of honey.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'll quickly get some orange zest.
So why do you like using the honey in this dressing?
Honey just makes it right. I mean, it gives the sweetness to it, plus it gives the body, and it helps in thickening up the dressing. Half an orange, lemon. So this gives the acid, And then all you do is add that, Jenn.
Oh, look at that color.
So it really pops, eh? A little bit of mustard.
This is your homemade mustard, right?
A pickled mustard, yes.
And I get to shake it up?
Yep. It's so easy to make, you know?
So easy. Yeah. Okay. Looks good.
And now the test, you have to taste it.
Oh, I get to
see
taste
if you
it?
like it, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Milton.
It's fresh, right? Yeah. So then we put a little bit on the salad. That's a cucumber wrap salad.
It's so simple.
Yeah, it is. I've been in Canada since 2004 and I travel coast to coast. I worked with Fairmont hotels, I worked with the Westin hotels. I enjoyed the role of being a hotel chef, wearing a fancy hat and, you know, keeping a nice crisp white jacket. But once you put the tick marks, then you start seeing what is more important. And when we opened the restaurant, it made everything right. The intention was always there to have our own place where we would do seed to plate, we would do pottery and, you know, finally live. We started with this concept of 5 elements on each plate, 5 textures, 5 colors, 5 flavors. Because us cooks are notorious. You give us 5 seconds and we put 5 more things that are not required and distort the flavor. Honey worldwide, it doesn't taste like the honey here in Saskatchewan. I want people to experience it. So I bring out this 2-3 different spoons so they taste the difference between the 2 or 3 honeys. And really it blows their mind. They have never looked at it that way. So it's fun, you know, it's like the experience and I won't say educating, but it's just making people aware of what actually goes in our food.
Honey is a versatile kitchen staple for Chef Milton. It's his favorite way to add sweetness and body or to balance heat and acidity in everything from salads and entrees to desserts.
So honey is the theme today and I've used honey in most of the preparation. Starting with the trout, I've put honey, lemon, chili. We got cucumber wrap baby greens with mango, pears and peppers. And we have, of course, pork belly. That I put apple and honey again. So yeah, enjoy.
Amazing.
And I'm going to join you.
Okay, Chef, where do we begin?
The fish should be the best. So let's start and enjoy.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Presentation is absolutely fabulous.
Isn't this beautiful? It smells so good. So Milton and Louise have lived and cooked all over the world. And then you bring all these flavors to Regina.
No, we are lucky to be 10 years in Saskatchewan.
Is this a fork salad or a finger salad?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
And so this is your first time at Sky?
Yes, I have never been here before. So what a wonderful introduction to it. This is amazing.
So you get to discover their restaurant. They're discovering your meat.
That's right.
We need the honey man in the middle.
I love the different tastes of honey as the season changes.
The first batch in spring, you can really taste the flowers. That's our favorite.
Yeah.
Caragana honey we get here, and dandelion honey.
Dandelion honey, yes.
On a mass scale, we produce mostly the white, mild honeys that everyone in the world loves.
Because the commercial honey is quite different than the smaller artisanal batches. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like tasting wine, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing people tend not to realize about mead. Mead is as diverse as wine is. So you can be as unique as an area of France in terms of champagne and things like that because of the way that honey comes out from the local flowers or whatever that looks like.
We want to know where it comes from, how it's grown, and then of course I've got the biggest critic who lives with me. So yeah, that's a compliment, Mama.
I like that you call her Mama. It's so cute.
Well, he used to call me honey, right, honey?
So when I was at Crystal's, she taught me how to make a boucher. Did I say that right?
You did, yes. So a boucher is a mead that you make with caramelized honey.
And this is the first time you've done that?
Yes.
So you make a huge batch very first time?
Well, yeah, I was
That's
gonna,
pretty brave.
I was gonna do small trial batch. But then I was like, nah, just whatever, just do it. So
good for you.
Well, Milton and Louise, thank you for inviting us in for dinner and making this Saskatchewan feast. It was such an honor.
It's our pleasure.
No, it's our joy. Thank you.
Well, you know what? Most meals end with a nice sweet. So how about some sweet honey on this beautiful bread you made?
I like this idea.
Yeah, me too.
You're right in there, I see.
Oh yeah. Well, no waiting for me. I'm all over that.
From the rolling fields in the south to the boreal forests in the north, Saskatchewan's food bounty overflows. As an author and journalist, I've spent the last decade tasting the best the province has to offer and telling stories to help us reconnect with our food. I'll take you on a field-to-plate journey to discover our finest ingredients and the people behind it all. Because this isn't just my story, it's Saskatchewan's. There are a lot of misconceptions about cattle and ranching. However, the whole story is not being told. Some of the world's last remaining grasslands are in southern Saskatchewan. Cattle and the ranchers who raise them are vital to keep these grasslands thriving.
Our farm is a true family farm. My wife and I and our 2 kids, we also work with my parents. When we used to manage the cattle, they were in larger pastures. So when we moved them to a summer pasture, they'd be there for months at a time. And we started to realize some of the benefits there were for moving them more often, and we got to where we are today, where a lot of times we'll move them once a day.
Mark and Laura, I can't believe your pastures this year. It looks incredible. Tell me what you're doing out here that's making it so vibrant and lush and green.
Well, we keep moving the cattle about once a day if we can. And the idea is to not to take everything, but just to take a little bit and allow the plants to keep growing and to recover.
The rule of thumb is kind of when it's green and growing fast, you move the cows fast, and then when it's growing more slowly, you can move the cows more slowly because you never want to let it grow back and then have them graze it again while they're still in the same area.
So to me right now, I mean, this looks really healthy and beautiful. Why are you moving the cattle every day?
A big part of rotational grazing isn't so much planning what to do today, but what you want this to look like when you want to use it the next time. There's very few things we actually think about when we think about nutrients. We think about the protein and maybe the iron that comes in beef, but proper cycling soil and really healthy grass has many more phytochemicals and vitamins, and it's full of the little things that just help to make the livestock and the meat and eventually the people who eat it healthier. So this is kind of what we really like to see. She's got what you'd call guts. She's just a round.
Yeah, she looks so healthy.
Yeah.
How can you tell how they're doing at this point in the season?
The shiny coat is a really good indication of how healthy they are. The other is how fat they look. Like you can see a lot of them have a decent round to their belly and
a flat back kind of and rounded on back. And because they move every day, they know that this means new grass right away, so they come. Yeah.
So that's why they're so excited. They're not excited to see us necessarily. They know they're going to be going to new grass right away.
Excited to go past us. Yeah,
it's supper time.
Right.
They don't all have the same personal space boundaries.
Right.
Yeah, they're not opposed to bumping you if you're in the way.
They may not respect my bubble.
That's right, they may not.
All right, well, let's get going. How do I do this?
We're gonna put these 2 together.
Okay.
I'll let you do that.
All right.
Yeah, you want the notches at the top. Yeah, and then we're just gonna lift the fence and let them through.
Okay, are you ready, girls?
I'd say yes.
The family moves their cattle to new sections of pasture every day. Rotational grazing improves the soil and grass health while keeping carbon in the ground.
It's easy to drill down on a certain thing, a gas, a methane, and say this is a problem and cattle are part of that, but they're part of a natural system that was here long before we got here, grasslands and grazing ruminants. That's a system that worked until we broke it. So if we can do anything to mimic the way it worked originally, then we can kind of get that cycle back on track. And once you can come out and you can see and you can see how healthy the land is, it's pretty easy to convince people that it's not really the cow's fault.
And what have you found the impact to be on the finished product, on the grass-finished beef, when you're using the rotational grazing and taking the grass health into account?
The healthier you can keep the grass, the healthier you can keep the soil, the more nutrients that passes on into the grass, and then the livestock end up not only in better health because they've got a better balanced diet, but it also improves the quality and the flavor of the meat.
The cattle can select what they need in their diet, if they need more of a legume or more of a grass or whatever they need, which also helps them be healthier, have the vitamins and minerals they need, which passes right on through to the beef too.
So when we started down the road of managing our pastures better, we started to really like the results. We liked the way that the grass was responding. We liked the way that the cattle were responding, and the health of our herd was improving. And it's really satisfying to have people eat something that you've spent a lot of work on and enjoy it so much and appreciate it so much. It's important to us that we leave the land in better shape than we found it, and the business itself. It's important that all of those things get tied together so that the next generation should come back to the farm with tons of enthusiasm and pride and just wanting to build on what's happened before. And that's kind of what we're hoping for.
By mimicking nature, the Heimer family is regenerating their land, creating healthier soil and grass, which equals healthier cattle. The nutrients in the grass are passed along to the cattle, which then turn that into nutritious and flavorful grass-finished beef.
Out here in the cattle industry, we kind of do what our grandpa did, what our dad did, which I think is some ways is okay, but we got to start taking some chances and start taking a little bit of risk. Like ranching's a great life. And I mean, Southwest Saskatchewan, there's a lot of great cattle ranchers and they're very good at what they do. But a lot of people maybe are just complacent of just doing that. And I think why maybe more people don't do it is because it is a risk. It's something different because we're taking something that we see physically born, we raise it up to finish, we take it, we process it, and we sell it out the front door, I call it, to the public. Our place is fourth generation right now. We're around 110 years been on this location. We use the horses to work the cattle, to move the cattle, sort cattle. When I first got out of school, I got working in the oil field and had a very good job, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. This was what I wanted to do. You know, it's a great place to live and blessed to have the opportunity to be able to raise some cattle out there. I'm Vince Stevenson, owner of Carricane Farms and Ranch House Meat Company, located in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan.
Along with raising 500 head of cattle, Vince owns Ranch House Meats in Shaunavon, a town of about 1,700. That means he controls the supply chain and his customers know exactly where their beef comes from.
We started about 10 years ago and just kind of had an idea on a summer holiday. I kind of felt in this area we could do a better job of what people were getting offered, and kind of come home and laid out the idea, and kind of next thing you know, here we are.
Why did you want to take the value-added route, and what does that mean for you rather than selling it in the traditional commodity market?
And it's sure nice to see our product from start to finish, from a little calf right when it comes into the butcher shop, that knowing that's kind of some satisfaction of raising it, and we can raise good stuff. And I just wanted to give people another choice.
Tell me about your new manager. I hear you have a new butcher here.
His name is Corey, and he has took a tremendous amount off my shoulders, and it allows me to do what I love to do, and my passion is raising cattle.
All right, Corey, we're at the butcher shop. Tell me what we're gonna do today.
Okay, so today I'm gonna bring out a side of beef for you, and we're gonna break it down into the different parts, and then we're going to do a tomahawk steak. So I'm gonna go grab the beef, we'll get started. Okay, Jen, so this is the rib section of the beef. So is what we have here is the ribeye, and then right here we have the short rib section. So when we cut this on the saw to make the tomahawk, we're gonna cut here, and then that is going to leave the short rib attached to the ribeye, which will then have this nice bone attached to the ribeye, which gives the tomahawk its signature look.
What makes these ribeyes so good?
First off, they're one of the most tender cuts on the entire animal, as well as they're one of the most densely marbled. And the marbling is what we really look for, so we like all those little specks of fat in there, and that increases flavor and tenderness as well.
Wow.
Okay, Jen, so here's our unfinished tomahawk. Now what we want to do is we want to find where we think our steak is going to look the best. So this is usually about where we go. So from there, we'll just make a little line, and then we know kind of where to trim it.
Okay.
Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna clean off this short rib here.
Oh, and then you get that nice bone coming up.
That's right. So this kind of gets that signature look, right?
Mm-hmm. What do you do with this?
This makes great hamburger.
Oh,
Great hamburger
perfect.
or stew, anything like that. We can turn it into something else to give a little bit more value to it, of course.
So many ways to use the cow, right?
Exactly, for sure.
So how do you know if it's too much fat? This would be extra, or that's okay?
We don't mind a little bit on the outside, maybe a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't want it to be too fatty, but this looks pretty perfect to me. So is what we have here is your beautiful tomahawk.
Wow, what a beauty. As Corey explained, every part of the animal is used. After I learned a few butchering skills, Vince invited me to see how they work cattle on horseback and keep ranching traditions alive. We're out at the pasture. It's beautiful. Tell me a bit about this place.
Okay, right here, we're about 25 miles northwest of Shaunavon. Around 5,000 acres of rolling hills. We got trees, we got bush, we got creeks. Just couldn't be happier to have this place for our cattle to roam around.
There's about 500 head, you said, or cow-calf pairs?
About 500 right in here, yep.
When you're out there, it's you and the horse and the animals. You know, we leave the cell phones in the truck and we experience the smell, the sounds. There's no therapy in the world that beats getting on a horse and just having some time to think, and it's just great. Everything here is grown off our own ranch. We're using everything that's from right close to here. So it's just a win-win for us. That's why I think it's unique.
For Vince, it's important to create employment opportunities in his community. Not only is he helping revive rural Saskatchewan, he's also providing high-quality beef products straight from his pasture to local dinner plate.
I truly was inspired to do this because of the way Europeans dine versus North Americans. I think North American mentality is that everything needs to be in an urban setting and convenient and right here and right now. And we wanted to slow it down. I think that was a really big, important part when I traveled through Italy and France and some of the amazing restaurants we ate at in small towns and the love and their gardens, and they wanted to show you and they wanted to bring you back, and you weren't just like a guest. You know, you're almost like part of their family and in their restaurant for a bit. And I thought like there was no feeling I ever had more than that than sitting around after a branding or a harvest and the meals we would have. So we wanted to create something that we wanted to eat at. We want to bring all the things that make coming to a small town amazing. And what is that? It's the people and the way they welcome you and they open their arms. And I wanted to showcase that. I wanted to showcase this side of Saskatchewan. It's often like, oh, it's a little town, they're just a bunch of hicks, but they know how to have a good time. Like usually that's followed, oh, I had the best party, you know, and they're talking about the people. They're talking about the way they felt and the way they were brought in and the way they were welcomed into that community. And there needed to be restaurants like that in Canada. I'm Garrett Rusty Thenis, and I'm the owner and chef here at Harvest Eatery and the Blind Boar in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan.
Harvest Eatery is unique for several reasons, such as its partnership with Ranch House Meats, which supplies the restaurant Speckle Park beef and is located just across the street.
I met my wife Christy while working in Calgary. We'd take our coffee break across the street at the bar she worked at and have a quick cold beer sometimes mid-shift. To be 20 again. That was 10 years ago. 3 years after that, I brought her up to this idea of opening a restaurant in Shaunavon, which was crazy. None of my friends wanted to invest, nobody wanted in. People tried to talk me out of it, but we're opening beautiful restaurants in urban settings that are bringing us food from everywhere else, but we're not celebrating anything that we do. And we do a lot of things really well. For me, I really wanted to support my community, and Vince had opened the butcher shop across the street. The idea to me seems so obvious. This is where we're raising pulses, chickpeas, lentils, mustards, peas. We have pigs, chicken, eggs. That's who we are. And why isn't anybody doing this food? It wasn't as much about the grading, whether it was AAA, AA, prime. I just wanted to know the guy that was raising the beef, and I wanted to see those cattle and how they were being treated, and I wanted to know that from A to B before they ended up on your plate that they lived a really great life and that we weren't going to waste sections of that cow. So we focus on the menu on using as much of the cuts as possible, and what we can't they use in the store. And so I think about food in a sense of it being a really shared experience, and if you want to have a great meal, I don't know what chef you're going to go to of any worth that wouldn't say it starts with great ingredients.
Okay, chef, we're in your restaurant. You're going to show me how to make one of my favorite dishes on the menu, the Speckle Park beef tataki with Speckle Park from Vince across the street.
That's right. Tataki was something I kind of eaten a lot, but with tuna normally. It's a very Japanese-centric dish. You need 3-4 components that make it that way, which is green onion, sesame oil, ponzu, and then pickled ginger. But at the end of the day, what tataki celebrates is the meat on the plate. So we're not going to mess with it too much. We're just going to add a little touch of oil, and then we season with our salt and pepper. And a good salty crust also helps dry a little bit at the top of the meat. It'll pull the moisture so you get a really nice sear when you're coming down. But we're just going to set and then press it lightly because we want to make sure our sear gets nice and even.
How long do you leave it now?
Depending on your temperature, I usually say about 30 to 45 seconds each side.
Oh, that's it. Wow.
Really, really quick, yeah. You want the inside to be blue rare so it melts, but you get a little crunch off the, off the texture on the outside. So a lot about food is not just contrasting and balancing flavors, but also giving you contrasting textures so that your palate is kind of kept alive and surprised the whole time you eat.
That's that experience that you're
That's part of the
speaking about.
experience, yeah. So at this point, we're just going to quickly move over with our pan, and we'll just set our beef on the board. And what's really important about this is giving it an opportunity to rest now.
Okay.
So the key when we're doing the dots on the plate is you want to be a little bit close, and you just kind of go your own speed, but you want to keep them random and odd numbered. I'm going to let you kind of finish it off. Imagine though that you're working with just the half of the plate. So at this point, we need to bring the star of the show in, which is our beef. So first cut's kind of the end cut, so it's no good, so you're just supposed to eat it.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And you can see the tenderloin just wants to fall apart, so having a really sharp knife is key at this point. We'll bring it, and we just do we need a few more components for this to become tataki, and one of those is ponzu sauce. So here at Harvest, we make our own. It's like a citrus soy sauce, and we just drizzle it over this beef now. It's gonna add a little bit of saltiness to it as well. Whenever I've had like a beef tartare or a rare beef, one of my favorite things is just a little egg yolk. It adds some richness and fattiness, but we didn't want to just pour an egg yolk on there, so what we've done is cured our egg yolks.
Look at that.
It's just a salt and sugar combination. Literally like cheese, we're grating some fresh egg yolk. It's all gonna add flavor. This dish my dad has never had anywhere else. He's never seen it. And it's like his favorite thing in the world. And for me, that was just a really special moment. So if you have a chance to try beef tataki in your town, do so, and then come here and taste what it should taste like.
Yeah, chef. Rusty and his wife Christy are creating a remarkable dining experience in their Saskatchewan small town. Their restaurant is a destination for people from all over, and they do it by staying true to the ingredients, like ranch fresh beef found in their own community.
And so people would try to challenge that standard in 72
Here we are, guys. On the right closest to Christy and Vince, we're doing a bison tartare studded with fresh Saskatoon berries, and underneath is smoked beef bone marrow. That's been slow roasted and salted. And then over here for you guys, just so you get your greens while you're doing your meat, we have what we call our harvest salads. So dig in, enjoy. I'll be right back.
Incredible. Thank you, Chef.
Yep, thank you.
What's it like having a chef at home?
He doesn't cook at home, actually. We do get to taste test a lot of the food first and try the wine out, which is nice.
Yeah. To bring these tastes and these flavors to rural Saskatchewan, people here deserve just as great a food as people in the cities, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's so nice to come for a treat 15 minutes away, and we get to taste what we're raising without doing any work.
God, it's that creating an experience around eating as well, and the pleasure of sharing good food and company, and that's why people come from all over to eat here.
It's the feeling you get of going to your mom's house and having a great meal with your friends and your family. And you leave usually with a hug.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Wow.
The beef. So we have roasted fingerling potatoes for you guys, charred broccolini. The puree is made from ugly carrots, which are the ones that aren't cute enough to make it in the grocery store, but still taste just as good. And then we have our maple bourbon and green peppercorn sauce. And of course, the star of our show, our tomahawk ribeye steak, which has been finished with just a touch of truffle butter. We're gonna take this just off the bone first.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Look at that.
See, I guess for me as a cattle rancher in our business, to see this kind of like our theme was pasture to plate, raise them and have the good folks to harvest here prepare the end product. It's just, that's so gratifying. It just really is.
There's no hard work that's worth it in life if you can't share down and share a meal with friends, you know?
There are a lot of ups and downs in every industry, but this here makes it so worthwhile as far as I'm concerned.
100%.
So worthwhile.
So hopefully, knowing all the hard work that went into this meal, it's gonna taste fantastic. All right, let's dig in.
And cheers, everyone.
Yes,
cheers.
Salute.
From the rolling fields in the south to the boreal forests in the north, Saskatchewan's food bounty overflows. As an author and journalist, I've spent the last decade tasting the best the province has to offer and telling stories to help us reconnect with our food. I'll take you on a field-to-plate journey to discover our finest ingredients and the people behind it all. Because this isn't just my story, it's Saskatchewan's.
It started in my teenage years working in big chain restaurants. I felt kind of drawn to the kitchen, the personalities, the knives, the fire, like it was very interesting to me. And that's just kind of sent me down this path of learning as much as I can. I just became so laser focused on that for most of my adult life.
When we started in Saskatoon, the culinary scene wasn't nearly what it is now. There was, a couple of restaurants, but once you'd worked in those, there was there was nowhere to go. So I think the best way to learn to cook is to get as much experience with as many different people and as many different chefs as you can. So for us, that meant bigger cities with lots of restaurants.
I think everyone should probably live in a different city than the one that they grew up at some point in their life. It just allows you to broaden your horizon. And I think I left Saskatoon saying to myself, I'll never come back to this city, you know. But you go to another place and you feel the pull. And we've always felt that pull.
I've trained in different bigger cities, and I feel that if I've trained in those bigger cities, I can take that knowledge and bring it back to my hometown. And it has a ton of meaning to me to be where my friends and family are. And I want people to be able to taste everything we have around us and for it to really bring them home and bring some meaning to where they are.
In Saskatchewan, we're very lucky to have a really tight culinary community. For example, when we were still catering, we became friends with Christy, and it's nice to have someone who really does understand the struggles you're going through and can offer help or just listen.
We felt very welcomed here, and there was never someone saying, oh, you're opening a restaurant? Like, I have a restaurant. You know, it was cool. Like, let's hang out. Let's feed each other. Let's drink together.
We have a really great time together, and we're able to talk shop a little bit and like discuss the ups and downs of being chef owners and the restaurant business and different ingredients and different inspirations for different dishes. And it's just like so nice to have somebody to talk about the things that are in our everyday life.
I was first exposed to foraging mushrooms when we lived in Vancouver. My first day in a kitchen there, the chef kicked the back door open. He had been on Vancouver Island that morning, and he had brought back all of these various mushrooms. And I'm a new guy in the kitchen, so I'm brushing and trimming and all of this, but just every one was like a jewel. You know, if I touch this one, it turns blue. This one's purple in the middle. You know, it's the smell, everything about them. I'm drawn to them.
Chanterelles grow all over the place, but it's our opinion that the very best ones grow in Saskatchewan. They're a little bit peppery and sweet, and they have this fantastic texture, and they really do taste like the forest smells.
People connect with the mushrooms that we serve here because we connect with them so much, and it has its own flavors. It seems to change whether you can shave them raw and they smell of stone fruit, peaches maybe, and as you cook them, they kind of intensify. They have a really pleasing texture. It's not crisp, but it's just present and beautiful. With the volume that we do at the business, we have people that forage for us often, but every year and every season that we can get out for, we go out, we find our own little batch, we bring it back, we serve it at the restaurant, and that's super important for us to kind of see that from start to finish.
For the 3 Saskatoon chefs and friends, their favorite way to spend a day together is foraging for chanterelles, and they invited me along to join them. Wild chanterelle mushrooms are Saskatchewan's forest jewels. They grow in the boreal forest where the prairies meet the Canadian Shield.
We did truly get the most beautiful day for this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What are we looking for when we're out foraging, you guys?
Little bright orange pops of color.
It's so magical how once you see one, then you can start to see
You're right.
more
Look
and
at
more. The magic just takes over.
There's so many.
There's little perfect tops everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Being a chef restaurateur, it's really good to have friends that are in the same boat and doing the same things. So coming out here with Thane and Beth is just a literal breath of fresh air, and it's so surreal. Like, it's just beautiful, because I've definitely tried to go on my own and found like 2 mushrooms. So it's beautiful that they know the spot and that they would share that with another fellow restaurateur, and that there's such a good community around it.
When we're looking for chanterelles that grow in a very specific type of forest in Saskatchewan, it's generally older growth. It's easy to walk through. The ground is carpeted with reindeer moss, and you're just looking for little depreciations in the ground, perhaps where a little extra moisture has condensed, and then you'll see these mushrooms popping up here and there. It's just like a beautiful walk in the woods.
What I love about chanterelles is I love the hunt for them and the smell of them, and I just think that they're such an incredible Saskatchewan ingredient. As soon as those mushrooms hit the pan, it's unmistakable. There's nothing else that smells like that, and once you've had that, you wait for chanterelle season all year long, so it's really beautiful. How can you tell it from other mushrooms?
So chanterelles are one of the few mushrooms that has the gills from the cap itself that are attached to the stem. Often you'll see the gills go towards the stem but then break clean off, and it's easy to snap right at that point, where these are like literally a vase shape and they slowly integrate into the stem itself. Once you see one, you're gonna start to kind of see more.
The magic just takes over.
It's like a little treasure hunt.
The bright orange mushrooms hide in the reindeer moss on the forest floor. They can be difficult to find at first, but once you start finding them, it's hard to leave the forest.
Look at this! Oh my gosh!
Nice find.
Look at them coming up.
Where you see reindeer moss, where you see old growth jack pine, there's a good chance you might see chanterelles.
Look, there's a bunch growing under this log.
You can kind of see how they've like clung to moisture. You know, the sun is beating down all around it, but there's this little area under the log where.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
The chanterelles have to like push up through the moss so they get cleaned on the way up, and they're like stout and beautiful and pristine.
Yeah, that's what makes the Saskatchewan ones so awesome. They're always just
Look at that.
sturdy and
perfect.
And they're
beautiful.
never as pristine as this moment right here. You know,
Wow.
it's a strange business to get into, to own a restaurant. It's a strange business to get into, to be a chef, and to do them together is kind of idiotic. So we really thrive on connections with other people that are doing the same thing as us. There is a lot of camaraderie here, and I think it has a lot to do with the place that we live in.
Look at this! Oh my gosh!
Nice find.
Look at them coming up.
Nice.
I feel like a regular mushroom forager now.
We also try to leave the occasional mushroom to let it fully spore out and propagate the next generation.
I like that.
Especially if it's an older mushroom.
Yeah.
They're just so beautiful and so unique, and Dana and I had tried for years to find them, but people are secretive about their mushroom spots, which I respect. Eventually, we found our very first mushroom, and to be clear, not like a patch, like one. And we were so happy, and we had a little moment, and we hugged, and we looked at it, and we looked at it, but now we're getting better at it.
Oh, it's so pretty. That color is so perfect.
I love it so much.
Let's break it up.
Yeah.
Just like it's meant to come apart like that. It's so
Yeah, it
beautiful.
gets split perfectly.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
up.
Juicy.
Buttery too.
And spicy.
No, the pepper.
Peppery, like,
I've never tasted a chanterelle from the forest floor like that. That's incredible.
I'm really excited about what we've got. Let's go cook these up.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like the taste of freshly picked chanterelles, so we set up a forest picnic lunch to enjoy the classic mushrooms on toast.
The people here are really special and really warm, and the community here is really supportive, and that's really different from some of the major centers we worked in. Saskatchewan might not have the population of somewhere like Ontario or BC, but it's easy to feel alone in those big, big places, and it's impossible to feel alone here.
How would you describe the smell of these?
it's every smell that we're presently smelling in this forest. You know?
Concentrated into.
Yeah, the sun is beating down, it's warming the pines, there's a little breeze, and it all seems to come together when you smell these mushrooms. In they go.
Oh, look at those little mushrooms in the sun.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
The smell when they hit that hot pan. Yeah, I love it. It's so fun to watch them go from that brilliant sunrise, orangey yellow, and they're gonna just start to slowly deepen and intensify. Yeah.
The flavor and the smell of chanterelles, as soon as those mushrooms hit the pan, it's unmistakable. There's nothing else that smells like that. It's just absolutely incredible. So it really becomes a sensory memory. And once you know that, and once you've had that, you wait for chanterelle season all year long. So it's really beautiful.
Look at the color already. Like it's deepening up, getting like those caramel edges. Are chanterelles your favorite mushroom to cook with, or do you have others?
The chanterelles are just so unique to this province, and they're such high quality. They're the best in the world.
Foraging companies use Saskatchewan as a marketing ploy to sell mushrooms. These are Sask chanterelles. They're often called.
think this should be on our flag.
Yeah, that's so smart. And yeah, we just drove a couple hours outside of Saskatoon to get like the most or the best mushrooms in the world, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A little drink, my friends. In 2020, we won part of Canada's 100 best restaurants. We landed at 85, and that was a very intense feeling and something we're extremely proud of, not just for our restaurant, but for this province as a whole.
We've watched that list since its very beginning, and being named one of the top 100 restaurants, it was so exciting to be on it.
Like, it still kind of gives me shivers down my back to think about it. We're very privileged to have that happen.
Being out here is just so inspirational. Like, I want to create a dish that looks like this, that smells like this, and that's like the essence of those chanterelles, and really bring people to the place that we are, but in the restaurant.
It's special getting to see something the whole way through from beginning to end. Collecting them and cleaning them and then preparing them and then watching guests enjoy them, it's like closing a loop. It's satisfying.
It was important for us to be a part of this kind of growing food scene that's here. We're not at any time being interested in being like Vancouver or like Toronto or Calgary. This is Saskatoon. This is Saskatchewan. We're happy exactly how we are.
It was a wonderful day with the 3 chefs. I gained a new appreciation for chanterelles and how to forage respectfully. We head back to Saskatoon, where Christy has something unique to show me with our freshly picked forest jewels. Everything has to have meaning for me, so there's a ton of thought that goes into each dish based on where we are in our seasons and what's available, what's grown well that season. We have to really be thoughtful of how we're going to use that on the menu and how we're going to sustain with those ingredients all winter long, because it is a very long, harsh winter here. I've worked in so many kitchens, and none of them have taken it quite as far as we do here. Nothing goes to waste. Like, even like the humble beet stem, we won't even get rid of that. We'll be chopping that up and lacto-fermenting that and making some sort of conserve out of it. Each dish is very carefully thought through, and each ingredient is also very carefully handled. Basically, Saskatchewan, we need to keep everything preserved because there's such a short growing season and we have a long winter. And the abundance of chanterelles, we make sure that we can lacto-ferment them and can them and pickle them so that we have them all year long. And a really important Saskatchewan representation of what we have here. They're just so beautiful. I just love the fragrance, that unmistakable fragrance as soon as they hit the pan and as soon as they come through the door. They're definitely a staple on the menu. After we returned from the forest, Christy invited me to learn about preserving chanterelles.
Ooh, welcome to the chef's kitchen.
Yeah, so this is my little laboratory where I've been doing all my experiments and trying out new things and doing my preservation. Lately, I've just been loving lacto-fermentation because it's all it takes is salt. It's magical.
So cool. Yeah, teach me about it, please. I need to learn more.
Basically, like, these are an example. Like, this is a sauerkraut that's been lacto-fermented, so it's basically just cabbage and salt, and it turns into sauerkraut. So that's the one everyone's most familiar with.
That's it? Like, you just add salt with cabbage and you get this texture and flavor of sauerkraut.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
It's all it takes.
It's so simple.
The bacteria does the work for us. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Basically, the science behind it is that the lactobacillus is the bacteria that thrives in a salty environment, whereas other bacteria die. So it always wins out, and it turns whatever sugars are naturally present in the ingredient into lactic acid, which gives us that beautiful pickle flavor that everyone's in love with. So it's really, really simple. And not only does it preserve the ingredient itself, it also preserves the texture as well as all of the nutrients. So I'm just so excited about this way of fermenting and preserving.
Yeah, of course. And then you get to open this jar in the middle of winter and get that texture and flavor and taste of the summer cabbage in the middle of winter. And it's good for you too.
Oh, there's nothing like it. It's really magical. So I want to show you how to do it.
Yay! Will I be able to do this at home?
Oh, you're gonna laugh once you see how simple it is. So we've got our beautiful forest chanterelles, the jewels of the forest that we picked yesterday.
Oh, I just love them so much.
I know, they're so
that
amazing.
Smell.
That smell. And so we really want to like
preserve that and concentrate that because they, you know, they don't last forever. So it's as simple as I'm just gonna weigh out my amount of chanterelles. You can help me put some in the jar if you want.
This knowledge about preserving and fermenting is just so integral if we want to really keep our sights on what we grow here and how to extend the season, right?
It's almost like a lost art, honestly. So
how are we doing there?
I think we're good. Let's stop here so we have some room to kind of mix. So we have 500 grams of chanterelles. So we're gonna do a 2% salt. That's kind of the most basic. That's what you would do for sauerkraut. That's what you can do for cucumbers. So the 2%, that would be 10 grams of salt. So this is a really beautiful kosher sea salt. Just use a really high quality salt that's not like iodized. So I'm just gonna sprinkle that over the mushrooms.
Why does the higher quality salt make a difference?
There's something about the iodized salt, it's just not, it gives it a strange flavor. It's not as clean. And I'm just gonna put the lid on and we're gonna give it a little shake. Give it a little shake. And so it's pretty wild that this ends up turning into this, which is the finished product. And look at how deep the color is and how much liquid has come out. And that's all concentrated chanterelle flavor right in there.
Wow, this color is amazing.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna let this sit out at room temperature for, it depends on the temperature in the room, but like a few days to a week or two. And every day I'm just gonna give it a little turn and make sure the salt's distributed and give it a little taste and see where we're at. Just because once it reaches a point of deliciousness, that's when it's time to stop the fermentation. And so you can stop the fermentation by putting it in the refrigerator or freezing it. So would you like to try a finished product?
Definitely, please.
Perfect.
I can't believe this color.
Wow. Oh my God, I know. It's the forest is just concentrated in this beautiful chanterelle. And the liquid is even really useful for seasoning things.
Thank you.
It's almost like a caper, like a pop of like pickle flavor with like a balance of salt and then that earthiness coming through from the chanterelle.
Wow.
I know.
Fermentation is a simple tradition long used to preserve the harvest in Saskatchewan and to ensure there was enough food to last through the cold winter months. Lacto-fermentation just takes salt and further intensifies chanterelle's flavor. Okay, so what do we have? What did you make for us?
We have lovely Pine Bee Farms ribeye here. We have some potato and ricotta agnolotti with fresh and cooked chanterelles. We have some green beans and roasted onions, a little green salad, and some grandma pickles.
Did you pickle them yourselves too?
Of course.
Of course, yeah. These chanterelles are gorgeous. Look at them. And from seeing them in the forest yesterday to on the plate today, like it's pretty special, like tracing the whole journey.
Yes.
Do you remember being in Vancouver and then getting Saskatchewan chanterelles?
Oh, totally.
Sask chanterelles.
All the time. It would blow my mind. And we'd get BC chanterelles.
Oh, no good.
Yeah, and then we just blew my mind that every restaurant in Vancouver was getting these Saskatchewan chanterelles, and I would be so proud. I would say, yes, they're from where I'm from.
Because how common is it to be a chef and a restaurateur? Like, it doesn't feel very common at all.
Like, it's just such a stupid amount of work. So when you have other people that understand it, you can kind of like look at them and be like, damn. And then they can be like, I know. And then you can kind of just go from there. None of our employees want to hear. None of our regular friends can understand.
Well, no, because if they think when you say you worked 16 hours that you're being hyperbolic.
Yeah.
And you know that we're not.
Yep. Really makes me take for granted being an employee, though. Holy crap.
Oh, those were the days.
But we didn't know they were the days. We were like, can't wait to own our own restaurant. But we should have been like, steady paycheck that I don't have to worry about. That's sweet.
It's a hard grind, and it's tough on everything around it. It's tough on your body. It's tough on relationships, friendships. It's something we've all kind of talked about before, where there's kind of that like pioneer, get her done elbow grease that happens here. And I'd like to think that we inherited a little bit of that and the do-it-yourself vibe that we all have.
The fact that we've come together and we're in the same industry, we want to support each other. So I think it's a very Saskatchewan thing.
Yeah.
I feel like you met us and we just looked like a bunch of crazy people in the forest. We're like, you gotta find these mushrooms, like they're really good. But it's infectious, you know? You saw our passion for it and you immediately got it, I think. And to see it from forests to being in the back of the truck, to have us think about a thoughtful way to use them, to put them on the table, to share that love with you is such a special thing for us.
Well, cheers to work-life balance and delicious food.
Cheers.
Thank you for
Cheers, guys.
such an incredible meal. So honored to share it with you. It was delicious.